Hey guys, how's it going? So basically I have a new little project here. What I'd like to do is tap off of off of one of my downspouts and run part of the flow of water out of the downspout into a rain barrel that my brother gave me. And so I've been messing around. These are just little toilet paper tubes, but basically I just kind of bent them to the shape roughly of what a downspout would be, like this. And so I was messing around with some cuts here and basically thought this might be a good way of connecting in. So if this was my vertical downspout coming from my gutter, I kind of came up with this, like if this was inside of here, I'd have a little bit of a lip to catch that. So here's what I was kind of thinking of doing. Basically customizing some guttering to be like this. Have these tabs sticking out, which I could rivet together. And then within the downspout, maybe you can see that, have enough of it sticking out to catch like 50% of the flow, and then have a little tab up here to also rivet. Now this little rib here is kind of the hard part that I had trouble cutting with the knife, but let's see if I can get past that. I'm turning the knife away from me so I don't cut myself here. Alright. That worked out pretty well. This mark here is basically how far I want to go into the downspout with, so I'm not cutting to that point, but I'm leaving this in place just so it's a little more rigid. This will be catching the water as it comes down, if that makes sense. And then I'm going to bend this one actually up. I'm going to try to pre-drill it and rivet this. Yeah, let me do the, so let me start working on this piece and cutting out this portion here. Alright, so here's the rain barrel. It has an overflow coming out the side here, as well as the little valve down here that you can turn on and off the water with. And so what I was thinking was, here's a downspout. What I was thinking is basically tapping in like this, so I'm capturing about half of the water and then running it down here into the rain barrel. So basically it'll sit in the vertical downspout like this. So I already have a joint right here next to the existing downspout, so I'm gonna kind of replicate that here. So I bought a new downspout, so I'm marking it here, how long I need it, and roughly how high this will need to sit, which looks like it'll be starting about right here and finishing up right about there. So roughly in this area is where I want to add the joint. Like I said, this little part doesn't cut very good, so I'll do that with snips. These gutters are not much thicker than a pop can anymore. Just to the middle. And these will be diagonals. Flaps. Bend that one out. Bend that out. Make this a little longer here. Yeah, that's definitely not the prettiest thing, but I think it will work here. I did leave a little bit of a gap here, which I didn't want. But that's hopefully where the caulking comes into play. There's a little gap there, so probably not ideal, but not too bad. Maybe I'll trim these up, just round them off before I put in the rivets. But yes. Right. This whole thing is all holding pretty stiff, and I think that's pretty good. I may just go ahead and caulk up all the seams if I can here. So here's a little view down the inside of that, and I think that worked just about right. Just that piece coming in there will block just enough water on the way down and let enough through. I added another rivet right here just to help give it a little more rigidity. It was pretty rigid as it was. I think I'm just going to caulk around the rest of these seams, and hopefully that will keep any extra water from leaking out. It's not the prettiest thing. I was hoping for better, but it's a little harder than it looks. Maybe some other people have ideas how to do this a little better, but it's alright. Maybe, yeah, that maybe helps a little bit. Alright, well, that's pretty much it. I think I'm just going to let this set up here and let the caulking dry. And I bet you it's going to be waterproof, and it should do what I want it to do. So, I'm going to take off this old downspout, at least half of it, and then put the new one in there. Alright, so the silicone that I put on there's dried up. Maybe it's just a little bit tacky, but it's good. And kind of turned more clear. I thought it was going to stay white, but it went kind of clear on me. So I'm going to stick that in its place here. So basically what I'm going to do is the elbows will kind of kill the velocity of the water, and it'll drain into here a lot more slowly. So I think I can extend it a little bit if I really want to, but I think this would be good. I also have a base that I could elevate this up a little bit. Rivets are so much easier to put in than screws. Trying to use screws and guttering, it takes forever for them to pierce. This seems a little bit nicer to use rivets. There we go. Alright, so since this is so low to the ground, this outlet here, I have this concrete base. It's just hard to get down to get to where to turn on the switch for the water, or the valve here for the water. So we're going to put this base underneath the rain barrel to give us a little more height. And also that'll also give us a little more flow into like the watering container or whatever, just by elevating it a little bit. So I decided I'm going to switch the overflow side to be the other side. Here's a little cap they provide for it. Right over here. Alright, so that'll help out with filling a can, and that actually brings the downspout right into where we want it. So that actually kind of hit two birds with one stone. Here's our total solution. We still have some going down into our drain, but here's the here's my total solution here. So, main rain barrel, and in case I get more water than I need, an overflow. So there we go. Well, it just started raining really lightly, and so here we see just getting a little bit of flow of water in here. I think this is going to be just about right. I mean, it's not raining hard, so anyway, it seems to be working and diverting just about the right amount. Down here, we're looking at similar amount, so Yeah, similar amounts kind of going down here as in here. If I could make it better, maybe I could figure out some way of having a diverter, but right now it seems to be working kind of how I intended it, so